Yes, Halloween. A wonderful reminder that it's time for us to get out of the trick-or-treat mentality embedded deep in our education system. Better known as the gotcha game. This is when observers show up unannounced to point out the super obvious problems in your school that educators already know about but are too overburdened to deal with anyway. The whole process feels based on an ingrained belief. Educators are selfish by default, and thus scare tactics must be used to remotivate, as otherwise we would just show Toy Story every day. So why does the system inevitably keep playing gotcha games when they work so poorly? Well, when you consider schools are sadly too often the default to deal with all social problems, historical failures, and fill in for non-existent support systems in our society, while being underfunded, overcrowded, and overburdened with endless tests and paperwork, it's not surprising it requires no real skill to walk into schools and find problems everywhere. Like with many things, it's just much easier to find someone to blame as a scapegoat than actually trying to change the larger system itself that causes these endless problems. And then sadly, the mandated treat after these obvious observations is more paperwork and diagnostic testing to help kids better pass multiple choice tests. And then the real terrifying part is that more paperwork just creates more problems because it leaves even less time for everyone, admins, teachers, and paraprofessionals, to focus on what actually does matter, actually helping students. The real treat would be not lecturing, but listening to educators and trusting our professional advice. It's not coming from selfish laziness, but offering valuable insights on what would authentically help us help our students. After all, educators spend hours all day, every day, working directly with students, not just looking at data from a distance and checking boxes. Indeed, the most successful leaders, admin, coaches, advisors, already understand this and do listen. So this Halloween, remember that scare tactic gotcha games only really motivate the great teachers to run for the exits and quit, rather than remaining in setups for blame and failure to do busy work. And of course, let's get the bad educators out. But micromanaging all teachers like they're bad by default, that's like making Picasso paint by numbers, or Maya Angelou only write instructional manuals. It might prevent rare, horrible teaching, but it more so eliminates brilliance from shining in the educators and the students. Now, I'm blessed to work in a school and district that doesn't play gotcha games, but listens, supports, and inspires. That's why I get positive results and am passionate about growing. It's about trust and support, not trick-or-treat gotcha games. If we trust each other and use our collective strengths to support one another doing what we do best, then we can finally hold a system that's self-accountable and each pour our unique genius and energy into building a better, more beautiful tomorrow that we all want. Your voice, our power, the future.